time I rode on the Hudson Bay line. I went to buy a ticket and I was doing fine. I asked the station agent how soon my trip would end. He said, you'll get to Churchill, boy, but only God knows when. On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line.
Well, have you got a schedule? Let's have a look at it. Yes, I got a schedule and it ain't worth 2 bits. Just take along a lot of grub, enough to see it through. You might get there in 3-4 days or maybe a week or 2.
On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line. Well, the cars were old and drafty round the windows and the doors. We sat on wooden benches and we slept on wooden floors. A big pot-bellied stove, it was rusted all to hell, for heating and for cooking and for spitting on as well. On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line.
We stopped at cricks and clearings, we stopped at lakes and fords, stopped beside the muskeg where mosquitoes come in hordes, stopped at bays and rivers, at rocks and waterfalls. We even stopped at places where there's nothing there at all.
On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line. Now boys, we've hit a washout, the conductor he did say, and if she don't get mended, I'm afraid we're here to stay. I need a bunch of volunteers, that's you and you and you. I broke my back, a line and track, until the train got through. On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line.
Well, now they got a diesel train that's really mighty nice. Now they got a cat train that goes across the ice. And they've got that airline, it's all the greatest fad. But they are never gonna have the good times that we had.
On the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, on the Hudson Bay line, hell of a time on the Hudson Bay line. Ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line. I always ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line. I always ride upon the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? Well, I always ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line. Order my meals through the ventilator on the Kettle Valley line. I order my meals through the ventilator on the Kettle Valley line. I order my meals through the ventilator. It tastes no worse, saves tipping the waiter. Well, I order my meals through the ventilator on the Kettle Valley line. And I buy my sandwich from the cook on the Kettle Valley line. I buy my sandwich from the cook on the Kettle Valley line. I buy my sandwich from the cook. He pockets the money, he's a dirty crook. Well, I buy my sandwich from the cook on the Kettle Valley line. Railroad bulls are gentlemen on the Kettle Valley line. Those railroad those railroad bulls are gentlemen. We may never see their likes again. Well, those railroad bulls are gentlemen on the Kettle Valley line. They tip their hats and they call you sir on the Kettle Valley line. They tip their hats and they call you sir on the Kettle Valley line. They tip their hats and they call you sir, then they throw you into the local stir. Well, they tip their hats and they call you sir on the Kettle Valley line. That's why I always ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line. I always ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line. I always ride upon the roof. I could ride inside, but what's the use? Well, I always ride upon the roof of the Kettle Valley line.
If you will listen, I will sing to you a song about the PEI Express, so it won't take very long. It's 8 miles to board and 30-minute run, I guess. Takes about 4 hours on the PEI Express. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar as she glides through the woodlands and foothills by the shore. The rumble of the engine doing 20, that's her best. Now, boys, you sure will get a thrill on the PEI Express. There's a hobo down in Summerside, I met him there today. He said that he was anxious to be getting on his way. The one thing that had stopped him was he needed sleep and rest. He'd take no chances getting it on the PEI Express. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar as she glides through the woodlands and foothills by the shore. The rumble of the engine doing 20, that's her best. Now, boys, you sure will get a thrill on PEI Express. Get my furlough, to Moncton I will go. They gave me 5 days traveling time, I'll need it all I know. I'll have to go to Borden, it takes 5 days I guess. So I'll spend all my traveling time on the PEI Express. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar as she glides through the woodlands and foothills by the shore. The rumble of the engine doing 20, that's her best. Now, boys, you sure will get a thrill on the PEI Express.
There were tinkers and tailors, shoemakers and snobs. There were heavers and weavers, all looking for jobs. There was a lager beer man who did hail from the Rhine. They were all heading west for the CPR line. There were Russians and Prussians, Norwegians and Jews. They were all in a fluster for to see Billy Hughes. To tip him $1 for a paper to sign, to be forward next spring up the CPR line. They had agents in Dublin, Liverpool and Cork. They had 5 in Chicago and 10 in New York. There were 15 in Boston, 10 on the Main, to transfer these bombs to the CPR line. So we started to work on the first day of May. $1.50 we heard was the pay. At the end of 6 weeks, we summed up our time. We were scarcely out of debt on the CPR line. So we stopped at Rocky Carling, so short you could bet if we'd stopped there much longer, he'd have starved us to death. For sauerkraut and salt pork, he chewed it up fine, and he slung it for hash on the CPR line. So we hoisted our turkeys and tramped down the line. We met there with Snyder, a noble divine. We met there with Snyder, a noble divine, with his bright number 2 on the CPR line. There he stood on the banks, and those teamsters he'd scold. It's bring in those teams or it's gall darn your soul. And if you don't like it, you can all take your time and skedaddle to hell from the CPR line. And skedaddle to hell from the CPR line. When you're on the run, you can't do any better than to pack your grip for British Columbia. Traveling there when the weather is fair, it's a good time for a Yankee. When the moose gets thick as the falling snow, 9-10 feet on the logging road, and the winter is only 2 days old, time for heading south, maybe. Oh, the BC Rail will take you down, it'll take you down from Prince Georgetown along the Fraser. It's a hell of a show to North Vancouver, Ohio, to North Vancouver, oh.
Working your way from Rupert Bay through the mountains on the Yellowhead Highway, many an hour in many a day you wished you were not driving. The black ice there may take your life or give you little gray hair overnight, but you ride the rail and ridge mail and let the road go winding. Oh, the BC Rail will take you down, it'll take you down from Prince Georgetown along the Fraser. It's a hell of a show to North Vancouver, Ohio, to North Vancouver, oh. The engines are built into the car so the fireman doesn't go very far. 3 cars strong just pulling along to fetch himself some tea. The passengers are all together on a holiday or running from the weather, looking through the windows at the provincial scenery. Oh, the BC Rail will take you down, it'll take you down from the Prince Georgetown along the Fraser. It's a hell of a show to North Vancouver, Ohio, to North Vancouver, oh. When you're on the run, you can't do any better than to pack your grip for British Columbia. Traveling there when the weather is fair, it's a good time for a Yankee. When the moose get thick as a fallen snow line, 10 feet on the logging road, winter's only 2 days old, time for heading south, maybe. Oh, the BC Rail will take you down, it'll take you down from Prince Georgetown along the Fraser. It's a hell of a show to North Vancouver, Ohio, to North Vancouver, oh.
Oh, listen to the song of the hobo riding on the eastbound train. Amid the cinders flying from the old smokestack, oh, listen to the sweet refrain. We're a jolly bunch of hobos, no money, not a job can we find. So, Mr. Redcoat, don't let us keep you waitin'. We're just a-goin' little farther down the line. Have you folks ever stopped to consider what it was to have no money, not a dime? Just fill yourselves with air and sunshine like us hobos that are riding on the line. They say we have no worries, no taxes, gas, or coal bills to pay. We get our heat and gas from the old smokestack as the old train goes rattling on her way. We never stop to worry. The engineer is watching the line. All we gotta do is watch the Mountie, and we have no trouble getting off in time. His coat and buttons glistening in the sunshine, and at his belt is hung a wicked gun, waiting there to catch a bunch of hobos, 'cause depression's made us all go on the bum. Do the police ever stop to consider that we are helping them in their jobs? If they didn't have the fun of keeping us on the run, then they'd all be with us riding on the rods. Our country is so rich, we go hungry, with wheat and flour piled up galore, and everybody wondering what's the trouble, why depression keeps on knocking on our door. And now you've heard our story, we have to be moving on our way. They chase us going east, they chase us going west. Now I wonder where they think we're gonna stay. We're a jolly bunch of hobos, no money, not a job can we find. So, Mr. Redcoat, don't let us keep you waitin'. We're just a-goin' little farther down the line. We're a-goin' little farther down the line.